Because if you lie on somebody and you ain't got nothing, shut up.
Or
They have done something that is like profound, if you ask me. That girl who lied about getting hit with the brick, they got her a 10-year ban off the internet.
Yeah.
If she goes on the internet, she breaks up probation, and she'll probably have to do the prison time. Because they gave her 10 years.
But that's how you start new laws. You know
Right. They only let her do 90 days. And
wait, she's
Yeah, she got sentenced to 10 years probation, 10 years, approximately $42,000 worth of restitution, and a 10-year ban off of social media because, you know, that's how she was getting most of these scam victims. This is unprecedented.
serve 90 days.
She has to do 90 days, and then she's on this probation with all these stipulations that come to it.
Is it probation?
It's 10 years. Woo. And now, because of this wicked woman, they're going to start taking people off the internet. Can you imagine that?
That's wild. Yeah.
It's gotten so bad, this is what they have to do so people won't work the system in a way that's detrimental to your brothers and sisters coming up with and behind you. So when do they start telling people that you can't be on the internet for 10 years?
That's wild. How would they even govern that? How would they?
I mean, like if you on the internet.
And I just put on a...
This is the thing that's going to hurt Rhoda Osmond the most, is actually having the ban from social media. The brick lady, brick face, brick house to some of y'all, of course. Y'all be looking at that ass I saw.
And we know that black women are the most educated group in America.
I know, I've been seeing that in a lot of the coverage of this. Everybody's talking about that ass, but that ass is in a prison jumpsuit right now. And she's been sentenced to jail in a Houston courtroom. This is official. All the people out there that were talking trash, they were out there calling black men bullet bags. They were saying that black women were unprotected. And this is an example of why all these people that were so high and mighty are very quiet right about now. You're not saying much at all. Even the Conscious Lee, he had to come out and say, hey, y'all, I talked about this. I already said she lied, but the Conscious Lee is an interesting character in himself. He's a TikTok creator who is purporting himself to be an intellectual of sorts. He likes to talk down to the people. You know, he likes to, he's that kind of guy who's going to use his street vernacular to get his message across so he could be closer to the people, right? It's phony as hell. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross, and Mark Lamont Hill situation, and they were expressing another form of classism. But this is another character that exists within academia, the Conscious Lees of the world. So when confronted about the brick lady and the way that she lied flat out, he's not going to take any responsibility for what he said in the past about this woman. Everybody in his comments was saying, this is your home state of Texas. And he was actually apprehensive to make a statement about it. So he put out a little quick video to try to brush it under the rug, but that wasn't enough. The people wanted blood. They were in his comments tearing him up. So all of a sudden, he reposts and pins the video that he did in 2024, where he says, I actually already addressed this in 2024. Now, you tell me if this sounds like an apology that is acceptable for this time. After all the things that people have been through, like Daphne, the queen of accountability, all the things that people online were called and people were probably pushed aside and silenced and called violent, all the people losing pages because of the brick lady. You tell me if this is enough for the public.
I want to apologize for being defensive and not being brutally honest and acknowledging two things from the jump. Yes, Ro lied about how she was hit and what happened when she was hit, but she was in fact hit. At this point, I can acknowledge, however, it's way bigger than Ro, and that this particular issue is being used to drive division and conflict in the black community, especially amongst men and women. And that's why I'm taking responsibility for. I apologize for how my initial egotistical response contributed into this proxy gender war that's going on, that's literally hurting the camaraderie and unity in our community amongst black men and black women. That is not the goal or the purpose, and I apologize for that. Peep game. I was linking to what I can't stand when content creators do. When you experience backlash against your audience, you can't act like everybody in the audience are ops, because in fact, this your audience. And you can't act like the backlash is just merely illegitimate. You got to have some integrity and be reflective about what's going on right now. And I'm sorry, y'all, that it took me a couple of days to really get off my defensive bucket, to really think about what's happening. Not only did I let a lot of y'all down, I let myself down as well. I make content to elevate our community, not diminish our community. I make content to edify our community, not reduce our community. And I acknowledge that the last video I've made, specifically when it comes to Roe being charged, was doing the opposite of what I want. Moving forward, I'll be less reactionary when it comes to hearing stories on social media and more mission driven with how I respond.
Stop right there. You're leaving out something very important. She was the aggressor in this case. Any contact that happened was in self-defense. That's why I think this apology is disingenuous. Conscious Lee, you're trying to put up a video from 2024 in January after she had been brought up on charges already. Then he finally, after fighting so hard in the opposite direction, he finally comes up with this weak-ass, half-assed apology. For the gender war that happened, he's not apologizing to the people that were affected by this. He's not apologizing to Olin Douglas, who almost got his life ruined by Rhoda, the woman that Conscious Lee supported, that apparently didn't have anybody in court but her family. So even though Conscious Lee happens to live in the same city as Rhoda, he didn't show any of that activism by actually showing up and advocating for her, which makes this next video even more reprehensible. He's talking this trash about sentencing in Texas, but nobody had her back. Yeah, that's crazy. Diabolical is what it is.
An apology. Are you going to apologize? What you're looking for is already happened last year and it's pinned in my TikTok. But I know bad faith actors when I see one. You don't care about an apology. You want to, I got you. We pop champagne bottles, these hoes be lying. And because I'm not giving y'all access to my page to be able to troll, y'all throwing temper tantrums. Y'all throwing hissy fits. It's a bunch of grown men celebrating a black woman being sentenced 90 days in jail, 10 years probation, 10 years off the internet, and paying $42,000 back. We ain't even gonna get into the constitutionality of harsh and unusual punishment because she got everything she deserved. That's how a lot of y'all feel. I live in Texas, born and raised in the state. I know people that I got people in my family that got 10 years probation. They was on the run for 7 years and they got charged with vehicular assault. They got 10 years probation. No jail time. You feel me? So y'all hatred for this woman right here and being like, aha, look at her, I told you. Look at him, I told you. Y'all ignoring the harsh and unusual punishment or the extrajudicial of the system, of the sentences, and because hey, you believe that's what it is. But anti-intellectualism make it where you're going to fight the way in which you're perpetuating the power of the system to over-sentence. This is what it is, man. You can acknowledge my did a crime and be like, the time don't fit the shit. You feel me? But because y'all want to engage in this unethical, these hoes be lying, and any nigga that believe these hoes be lying, too. Listen, man, we come from different frameworks of value. We come from different frameworks, you know what I'm saying, and different value systems.
See, he does things like this and he thinks he's like a social activist or something purely by, like filming with a brick wall behind him and talking trash about politics or, the elections or whatever's happening or Greg Abbott or whatever they decide to talk about at the moment. Whatever is popular right now, he does a TikTok on it. And this is his activism, right? That's what he's calling the actual pressure that he's feeling now to actually make a statement about how vocal he was and how forward he was in his support of Roe. But all of a sudden, now that it's been found out that she's everything that we've been saying she was, now we're trying to get clout off his page. Is that what he's saying? That is cowardly behavior. That is the bull these internet activist types like Conscious Lee try to pull. I'm not even one to really come down on people like that for their activism or what they choose to do with it. But he was just so reckless in the way he talked about the situation and how it fit his pandering narrative. Yes, pandering to black women about what black men are doing to black women. Why not address that in any of your speeches? Who's celebrating? That's the other thing I want to know. I have yet to see one person that's out there celebrating about this. We're looking at the fact that she got what she was supposed to get. How are you missing? How are you missing that point? What Brick Lady got is unfair? The sentence that she got is unfair for what she did. See, we don't get to choose what the sentence is for this situation. But you admitted that she was wrong. So the fact that she got something that was similar to the charges that your friends got or some people you knew got, then how is that wrong? How is that an injustice? How are people wrong for asking you to have accountability for the part that you played in her almost getting away with stealing $42,000? See, this is what I'm saying. This is a lack of taking responsibility. And just when you could have said, yes, I was wrong, I was dead wrong, and just left it alone. This is the Drake school of argument. That's exactly what the Consciously is doing. You know, how Drake just couldn't admit that he lost the battle. He couldn't sit down with it, shake Kendrick's hand, and move on with life. No, he got to double down and triple down and keep suing him. Consciously shares some of the similar traits of Aubrey Drake Graham. And I know he wouldn't like to hear that. He's talking intelligently to dumb folks. That's what he's trying to do here. He's trying to make you believe that he's more intellectual than he is. Look, just stop talking down to black people. How about you start there, brother? Since you're so conscious, like, how about you do that? And how about you take some responsibility for what you put out into the world, what you gave to the world, because you have to. This dude has a platform of 2.8 million followers. So he's out here promoting Rhoda as some type of victim and still to this day won't give it up. He's the only person out here defending Rhoda now. Now she messes up or uses the internet or she violates her probation for that 10 years. She's going to go to jail for 10 years to do the whole 10 years. How's that an over sentence? She deceived people just as you're deceiving people here. You feel me? He's got better values than you. Do you hear this? Because you actually called it out how it was. Now, how in the fuck does that work? How the fuck does it work that you can actually be right about something and the person that's dead wrong about it can tell you that you're somehow of less value? That's the world we're in right now. Because of dudes like this, charlatans like this with colored dreadlocks. This is what academia wants to produce. When are you going to be an adult? If you're going to be a public intellectual, George, I think his real name is George. If you're going to be an intellectual, George, because I'm not going to call you by your silly little TikTok name. I'm going to call you by your name, George. George Lee, you need to get yourself together and stop being this willfully ignorant. The woman was proven guilty in court. You just thinking it's some bullshit. And that she's somehow getting railroaded when she actually did the crime. How about you go look at what actually happened in the case and maybe you'll realize that she is getting exactly what she deserved.
People who lie to try and take away your magnetic attraction to the world. And that's out of bounds. And I think you need to be called out. Because if you lie on somebody and you ain't got nothing, shut up.
Anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. Make sure you sign up for the Patreon. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. This is Faucette Media.